If you're looking to learn paper animation, then this is the video for you. I've been animating on paper for a little while now, and I've learned quite a bit over the years, so I'm here today to share some of that knowledge with you. Disclaimer, this guide is intended for beginners only, so if you're looking for a higher level tutorial, then this might not be the video for you, so just keep that in mind. Also, this guide will focus mainly on paper animation, but I'll still be touching on some basic principles that can be used for other forms. With that being said, let's start off by going over all the equipment that you're going to need to animate on paper. First things first, you're going to need a light pad. You don't need to go all out with an entire light table, just a small cheap light pad will work just fine. You see, when animating on a computer, you have tools at your disposal, including an onion skin, which allows you to see your previous drawings while you draw. And a light pad essentially works the same way, by lighting the paper from below and letting you see where all of your drawings line up while you draw, which is essential for animating properly. Now, if you don't have a light pad, it's still possible to animate on paper using a flip technique, but it can be very difficult to execute, especially if you're just starting out, so I would strongly recommend picking up a light pad. Next, you're going to need a pencil. Any pencil will do, even a random pencil you find on the street will work just fine, as long as it's sharp enough. Next, you're going to need paper, of course, a whole bunch of it. Now, most artists will tell you that you absolutely need to get special animation paper with pegs designed to keep the paper in place, but that's complete baloney. All the animations you see on screen right now, I did not make using any special animation paper, so completely ignore the idea that you have to use it. If you're just starting out and don't want to invest into a bunch of art supplies just yet, then just get a stack of printer paper and it'll work out just fine. Now, once your animation is complete, you're going to need some way to capture it as a video. And this is where the materials list will vary depending on your personal preferences. But if you're just starting out, then I recommend using your phone attached to a phone mount. And if you don't have a phone mount, a gooseneck phone holder will also work too. Okay, now once you have all these items, you're ready to start animating. Go ahead and set up your light pad and paper and have your pencil ready. So I'll just start out by animating a bouncing ball to show off the basics. And in future tutorials, we'll go into more in-depth and complex things. But for now, we'll just start off with a bouncing ball animation. Now, before even drawing anything, I'm going to go ahead and number my pages. And I highly recommend doing that before anything else. It's very important. You can thank me later. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and draw frame 1. And I'm going to start by drawing the ball where it is at its highest point in the animation. So this is going to be where the starting point is. So now I'm going to go ahead and plug in my light pad before we draw frame 2 so that we can see through the pages. And this is going to help when making sure we draw the ball in its correct place. So I'm going to place another sheet of paper on top and try my best to line it up as best I can, and then I'll just hold it down with my non-dominant hand. Now the paper might move around slightly as you're drawing, but as long as you're holding it steady, it shouldn't move too much. Now I'm going to draw the ball at a slightly lower position, keyword slightly, than frame 1. Essentially, I'm going to have the ball fall down to the ground and then bounce back up into its first starting position. And then it's going to create a looping bouncing ball animation. So, let's go ahead and continue that with frame 3. And as I'm drawing frame 3, you'll notice that I'm drawing the ball at a further and further position each time. Now this is actually really important because it's going to make the ball appear to gain speed as it's falling down. You see, when you have drawings that are really close together, that's going to have a really slow action. And when you have drawings further and further apart, it's going to create a faster action. So we're going to use that principle to make the ball feel like it's gaining speed as it's falling down. And this doesn't just apply to falling objects, it applies to pretty much all organic movement, so make sure you get this technique down. We have frame 3 here. Now we're going to go ahead and draw frame 4, and this time I'm going to draw the ball even further from the last frame than it was in frame 3. And you'll also notice that I'm having the ball stretch and become really long and skinny as it's falling down. This is because I'm going for kind of a stretchy water balloon sort of approach. Although, of course, you're welcome to change the density and properties however you'd like whenever you do this. But for me, I want it to be pretty exaggerative and fluid. So I'm going to make the ball squash and stretch. And this is also a key animation principle that's going to be used a lot in not just objects, but characters and even emotions too. Okay, so we're going to continue onward. And you'll also notice that after every couple of frames, I'm removing the pages underneath. And this is because when the pages start to stack up, it can be a little bit hard to see through all of them. And I don't really need to see through all of them. Now, if I'm doing other techniques like pose to pose, which I'll get into in another video, then yeah, I might need to have more frames underneath. But since I'm just animating straight ahead here, I don't really need to have that many frames underneath. So that's why I'm removing them and putting them aside to focus on just the 2 frames that I'm looking at right now. So now you'll notice that the ball is starting to squish down here once it hits the ground area that I'm imagining. But instead of having it bounce back up, I'm going to actually keep it squashed for a couple more frames. And then start to have it slowly squash back upward. This is going to give the illusion that the ball is slowing down as it's falling back down to the ground, and then slowly gaining speed as it's bouncing back up. And this is going to give a much more realistic look, as opposed to if we just had the ball move at a constant speed the entire time. Alright, so now I want this to loop, which means I want the ball in its squish state to bounce back up to the exact same position that it was at the beginning. So I'm going to use the first frame we drew and put it underneath, and I'm going to use that as a guide so I know exactly where I need the ball to end up as I'm animating. So I'm going to use the same technique I've been doing so far and have the ball bounce back up to its original position, and using the same speed up technique that I've been doing before, where I have the ball move at a further and further position than it was from its previous frame, and move further and further apart, which is going to make it move faster and faster. And then I'll bring the drawings closer and closer together as I reach the final frame to make it look like the ball is slowing down in the air due to gravity. And once I have all the frames, now we're going to go ahead and scan it, or in other words, capture it. So go ahead and stack all your pages together in order and set up your camera and take a picture of the first frame, then slowly remove it and take a picture of the second frame, and then slowly remove that one, take a picture of the third frame, and so on. Then once you compile all those images together, you'll have your final animation, which you can see right here. Now obviously this is a very simple animation, I didn't really use any crazy techniques, but if you're just new to animation, I think this is a really good project to start with, because it'll get you used to the feel of paper animation, and it'll give you some good insight that you can use for future animations. Anyway, that's going to do it for this first video. I just wanted to go over the basics of paper animation to hopefully help anyone who is new to this. But if any of you are interested in learning much more complex and in-depth things, then feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll be glad to make a part 2 video sometime soon. So if there's anything specific that you want me to animate, then just let me know. And with that being said, I think I'll see you guys next time.